Welcome to the 1876 Sports and Culture Podcast. We're having another exciting episode for you. So let's get to it. I do want to start by giving a round of applause to both the men and women's indoor track and field teams.
They got it done.
Yes. They both captured the 2022 Southwestern Athletic Championship title. So amazing. Both coaches, coach of the year. So kudos to them as well.
Yeah, Coach Angela Williams and Coach Clay both got coach of the year. Angela Williams, as we know, is the consecutive two years in a row indoor championship. Couple standouts. So the Lady Panthers, they scored 133 points. The next closest was Alcorn at 101. That's a hell of a lead right there. A couple standouts. Kaza Roberts, she got second place in the 60 meters with a time of 7.47 seconds. First in the long jump with 19.8 feet, and third in the triple with 39.86 feet. That's a hell of a triple right there, man. Jade Shabir, second place, 200 meters, 24.45 seconds. Also got second place in the 400 meters with 55.5 seconds. On the men's side, a friend of the show, Jamel Wolte.
Yes.
He showed out again. First place in the 3,000 meters with a time of 8 minutes, 30 seconds. Third place in the mile with a time of 4 minutes and 18 seconds, and got most outstanding track performer by scoring 26 points all by himself. That is a heck of a day for him. We also had Nathaniel Crawford Wallace. Second place in the long jump with a jump of 23 feet. First place in the triple jump with a jump of 50 feet, 50 and a half feet. He got most outstanding performer, field performer, by scoring 22 points all by himself. Also, the 4x4 got first place with a time of 3 minutes, 16 seconds. The team of Nazir Pate, Devontae Jones, Ethan Phillips, and Damon Cobbs. So both of men's and women's indoor SWAC champions 2022.
You know, question is, are they ready? Are they ready for that North Carolina A&T smoke?
Why are you always trying to put that on them?
I just asked.
That ain't SWAC.
That ain't SWAC, man.
That ain't SWAC.
That'd be the next step.
We've proven ourselves. We don't need to go nowhere. We good. We got SWAC.
Are they ready for the Aggies? I mean,
we not worried about the Colonial League.
No,
we doing the SWAC.
Up
and in the SWAC, we got the indoor, and I think they're in a great position to dominate for the outdoor season.
Okay, folks get touchy, man. You ask most killer touchy.
The cool thing about though is
we could level set a little bit, Mike. I mean, scholarship differential would be nice first before we start comparing to a full.
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to say. You're going through, those statistics. When I think back when we had the women's coach, and she said, just imagine what they both could do if they were fully funded.
Bring it back home, Shanetta. Bring it back home.
Exactly.
Then the smoke question would be
exactly. But the accolades keep going for our Panthers. So moving on to the bowling team, the postseason honors that they received this week, and again another SWAC Coach of the Year in Glenn White.
Not just another SWAC honors, man. Paul's up a fifth ring.
Yes.
They say we're working on the second hand, baby. Second hand.
Yeah.
But
fifth regular season championship in 6 seasons. Good Lord. That man.
4 consecutively back to back.
Yes.
Sorry, it's 4 backs, yeah. But
man. And Crystal Klein has been on point for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. SWAC Bowl of the Year.
Did you see this baby hit like 54-80 pins out of 28? 54-80, and then who was that? What's the other young lady?
Asia Rand.
Right behind her with 54-79.
Yep.
They're like goats of bowling. You can't.
You can't beat that.
No, you cannot, man. But definitely kudos to Coach White for getting Coach of the Year. You know, you got Crystal Klein getting Bowler of the Year. Asia Wren, she's first team All SWAC, and Stephanie Vasquez with second team All SWAC. So look, man, the bowling team they're proving themselves over and over. PV is proving themselves over and over. It's definitely where champions are made, baby.
Exactly.
No doubt. No doubt.
So earlier this week, so we've been watching March, and so it aired, this weekend. The director of bands made a comment that got a few people on social media talking. He said that Prairie View was founded a year after Texas A&M. Of course, some people.
So folks got grumpy.
It will. It'll touch your soul when people make historical errors.
So let's just clarify that PV was not founded a year after. Both schools were founded in 1876. Both of them.
Same legislation, under the same legislation.
Yeah. Same.
That was introduced by Matthew Gaines, who finally got his accolades on the campus of Texas A&M. They released a statue of him. So finally that recognition and that history is finally starting to come to light as well.
Definitely. So let's just set the record straight here. Texas A&M and Prairie View A&M universities were both founded in 1876. Maybe the confusion is when you look at the history, it always will say that it was the second, state school. Maybe that's where that comes from. But again, both schools, I'm about to say born, both schools founded.
You say that, go ahead. Let's say it. They was born.
Yeah.
Way
in
down by River Deep.
Okay. So, and the last thing before we move on, our last thing in locker room talk, we just want to give kudos to Tony Moore, the CIO at PV. He was it this week or recent? I'll just say recently, the Journal of Black Innovation selected him as one of its recipients of the 50 most important African Americans in technology. So definitely.
I love our new apartment.
Great kitchen, open floor plan.
And kudos to the.
At least Geico makes renters and car insurance easy.
For locally made easy, go to geico.com. Now, first Murray. Top of the key to Sock to Keegan Murray. Dribbling in the left point. Goes to the Mike, hit your mute button.
Who's background?
It's Mike.
Sorry.
Bird clicking up. His first bucket since halftime.
What do we want to do?
Where did that come in at? That was that. So start the Tony Moore portion over. What you doing over there, Mike?
Before you go into that, well, go ahead, Sinead. Go straight in there. I'll say mine after.
So start over at the Tony Moore introduction.
Okay. And then Shanique and Jada, if you could just cut out where I say last, because I see here we were going to say something about rugby.
Yep.
Okay. And then also kudos to Tony Moore, he's the PV CIO. The Journal of Black Innovation selected him as one of its 50 most important African Americans in technology. Kenyatta, did you have more about that or?
Well, I just want to say collectively, when you talk about the history, whether it's in athletics or the founding of the institution or the history of individuals being successful in their career paths, as we say, productive people. It's that collective memory that we have with the sports culture show here that's important, that collective memory to make sure that that history continues to stand on its own and create the legacy that we all want to aspire to be.
Most definitely, most definitely. And there's something that I'm not too familiar with. I understand PV has a rugby club and they have their first game in 2 years. Have they played that game or is it coming up?
So it was the 19th, Saturday, February the 19th was their first home game in 2 years. So yes, though, for those who don't know, Prairie View has a rugby team. It's a club team. They play other club teams at other universities. Most universities don't have fully sponsored rugby teams. So they are a club team. They've been in existence for a few years now at this point. But yeah, so due to COVID, they hadn't been able to play in a few. And so again, this is their first home game in 2 years. They play out at the soccer field. So take a look up their schedule, find out when their games are, and go out and support them. Again, they play out the soccer field, so go catch those boys out. They are self-funded, so they are taking donations as well for uniforms, travel costs, things of those nature. So go support the Prairie View A&M University rugby team.
And they're pretty good too, huh?
Yeah, they're pretty good. They played in the some championships a couple of years before COVID hit them and stopped them. I actually have a colleague of mine whose twins were at Prairie View that started the rugby program, both engineering majors, and they take it pretty seriously and played at a high level, even at the intramural level.
Very nice. And before we take a break, just as a quick recap, as far as, again, kudos to our track and field teams, kudos to our bowling team. We've learned a little bit of history this so far. And then Tony Moore and our rugby team. Anything that, before I move on, is there anything that anyone else wants to say in regards to topics?
Yeah, I just want to say with regards to Mr. Moore, that notice came out, I think, February 17th. So it's about 3 or 4 days ago. And he was recognized. He's the PVAMU CIO, Chief Information Officer. He is known, and you can read the article yourself and get all of the kudos, but he is known as an expert in basically enterprise solutions. You hear that buzzword all throughout corporate America, and you're like, what's an enterprise solution? Is that, it's basically something designed to integrate multiple parts of a business company, through exchange of data and information. It links data and information together. It's building platforms. It's making businesses become more efficient. You see a lot of it in corporate America, and for him to be recognized amongst 562,000 Black technologists is a big deal. So I don't want us to undersell that. That is a big deal. He is part of the Prairie View umbrella, and he has a proven history with being able to not only bring technological advancements, but also make impacts on the bottom line. So kudos to Mr. Moore and his recognition. You can read all about it on Prairie View's website. There's also a Journal of Information Technology article on him as well, Journal of Black Innovation as well. So kudos to him. Let's give him his flowers.
I'm curious to know what how is he pulling and dragging Prairie View IT department and others to the 21st century?
That is the question I asked. What uphill battle is he facing and yank, pull, whatever, Prairie View into the 21st century from an IT standpoint?
Well, I do know. Well, he sits on the board of EduCause, right? And so a lot of the issues that Prairie View is facing, we're not alone. So I would assume that he's leveraging all of the know-how and the resources that he's getting from his colleagues through that organization. I think he sits on the board of that organization. So, we give PV a hard time, but you got to realize we're not out here fighting this battle alone. So it's an issue across the board, a lot of institutions, and I still give us our props. I think we're doing better than most. Got a long way to go, but we still do pretty good.
Especially when you consider even at the federaal level, they have a little problem with the IT system.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just gonna say, government agencies have more of a challenge as well.
Indeed.
And then before we leave, just I work in technology, and I would say if he can do anything to assist the computer science department, it would definitely be they need to get a cybersecurity program. They do have a club. I think there may be a certification, but it is time for them to either allow them to emphasize it or they need to get a degree. They need to start offering a Bachelor of Science in it.
Shanetta, maybe you need to link up with the group from Epsilon Gamma Iota and try to push that and see if you gain any leverage there. That'll be a good good leverage.
Yeah, we've got a ton of alum who are experts, longtime experts in cybersecurity. So the knowledge base is there. I suppose it's like everything else. We need the dollars.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. The question is how many of them gonna give up some of that money to come back and teach and start the program?
All right. And with
the teachers are not a dime a dozen out there in that new field.
Well, I did talk to, when I was recruiting back in 2019, I did speak with a professor there. And he actually, I can't think of his name, but he is the one that is over that club. So again, they got to move from being a club to offering a degree.
A full degree program. Yeah, indeed.
All right.
At least start with a certificate of concentration major in growth.
Exactly. All right. And with that, we'll be back to talk some basketball with Gaati.